Hey. Okay. One, the melody. It was a sunny day of spring. I was in my house in Brussels playing on my piano when I found this melody. I'm not gonna lie, I liked it. I liked it very much. Then I found some other melodies and I quickly came up with a whole track that I was playing over and over again every day. Until the point where my mom had to tell me, Edward, you need to stop playing that song. I cannot stand it anymore. You just play it every day. Just play anything else. But I cannot hear that anymore. Yeah, she really followed my musical journey. At that point, to be honest, the track didn't sound that good because I'm not an incredible piano player. But I had a small composition I was proud of. 2. Getting Nicola in. At that time I was taking piano jazz lesson with the incredible teacher Nicola Andrioli, jazz pianist from Italy. And it's actually funny because there is a picture of him in my bedroom, just right there. That is me, and that is Nicola Andrioli. In the studio, making magic happen. One day during one of our class at the music school, I came to him and I said, "Hey Nicola, I have this piano track that I wrote. I like it, but I'm sure it could be improved. Can I play it for you?" "Sure, man, play it." So I started to play it. I finished it. I looked at him and I was really afraid of his reaction. And I said, "What do you think?" "It's good, but we can pimp that up." And then he grabbed the piano and started to play the song and jam around. And it was so crazy. And it was not written. I didn't write it on the music sheet. And he just remembered everything and jammed on it. And it just made the track better. And I thought, if one day I make an album, this has to be the last track of my album. And it has to be played by Nicola. That was 2016, and 1 year later, in 2017, I started writing my first album. And I remember that moment with Nicola when he jammed around on my piano track. And I gathered all my courage to ask him, "Would you like to be on the album? Would you like to play that track?" I asked him and he said yes. Oh my God! That track on my album, played by Nicola. I was excited. 3. The oldest studio in Brussels. Brussels. It sounds kind of sexy, right? Brussels. 1 week later, we met in a recording studio in Brussels. We actually booked the oldest recording studio in Brussels, Studio Jet. Jet. Just like a jet, your private jet. There was no private jet. Okay. Nicola had recorded multiple albums there, some for him and some for other projects. The sound engineer responsible for our session that day opened the door to what was the Studio One, and I saw this. And this. And that was the first time in my life I saw a real proper mixing table. I was like a kid. Because usually I just work on my laptop, I make all my music there. And Nicola looked at me and was like, "I know that feeling." Nicola sat down at the piano, started to play, and I was like, wow, that sound. We are going big. We recorded the first version with a metronome. Tick, 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 so that Nicola could play with the perfect timing. We listened to it and it was good, but it was kind of lifeless. Because it was too straight on the tempo. It was a bit boring. And Nicola told me, "Edward, screw the metronome. Let's do one take without it. I'll just play the track." And I swear to God, we had booked that day the studio for 2 hours. But after 20 minutes, Nicola played what was take number 2, the take without the metronome. And I listened to what would become the last track of my first album. He finished the song, came back in the room with us, We listened to it. He turns to me at the end of the song and he said, "What do you think, Ed?" And I said, "We're done. It's perfect. Thanks, Nicola." Chapter 4. 4, it's crazy when you think about it. It's crazy when you think about it. The whole process I followed for the album, beside for that piano track, The Leap, was pretty common for an electronic dance music album. I went to record a lot of stuff, like guitars, vocals, other instruments. Then I used a lot of effects on it. I produced the songs, mixed them, went back to record again some other stuff, used effects, produced, mixed over and over again to have the perfect tracks for the album. And then I have this one final track, The Leap, with no editing, no cutting, no effects, no mixing. Just a raw, one-take piano track played by Nicola. And that's it.